So, meet Lynn. She works at Automax, an auto parts store, and she's just been handed a new task: set up a new product display. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? But hold on. Before she can even think about touching a single product, there's one absolutely crucial first step she has to take. And getting this right, it's the difference between a great display and a total mess.
And that's her manager, David, laying down the law. His instruction is super simple, but it's a big deal. You check the plan first, always. Why? Because getting the step right means you don't accidentally block a walkway or set up shop in the wrong spot. The lesson here is crystal clear. The plan always comes first.
Okay, so what exactly is in this plan Dave is talking about? Well, it turns out he's actually given Lynn two key documents. You could think of them as the blueprints for the entire sales floor. Let's break down what each one tells her and why she's going to need both to get this job done right.
Right, so here are the two types of plans. On the left, you've got the floor plan. That's the big picture, the map of the entire store. It shows you where everything is. Then on the right, you've got the display plan. That's the close-up, the detailed instructions for one single area, telling you exactly which products go where and how they should look.
So let's zoom in on that floor plan for a second. The easiest way to think about it is like you're a bird, looking straight down on the sales floor. It shows Lynn the main zones for displays, the paths for customers to walk, and all the fixed stuff that can't be moved, like the service counter. And most importantly, it's got all the key measurements on it.
Now, to keep these plans from being a cluttered mess, they use a kind of visual shorthand. See these symbols here? A solid rectangle is probably a wall. Those dashed lines, they mark out a walkway. And an arrow shows you which way customers are supposed to go. They're just a really quick and simple way to understand the layout at a glance.
Okay, so understanding the plan is step one, but now comes the really practical part. Lynn needs to use the measurements from that plan and do a little bit of simple math to figure out exactly how much space she has to work with.
And here's the exact question Lynn needs to answer. Her assignment is for Zone B, the accessories section. Now, the plan tells her the total width of that zone, but she can't use all of it. So how much space does she actually have to build her display?
All right, let's pull the numbers we need right from the floor plan. The total width of Zone B is 4.8 meters. But you have to remember there's already a fixed shelving unit in there that takes up 0.6 meters. And you've got to leave a walkway clear for safety, which needs another 0.9 meters.
Don't worry, the calculation is super simple. You just start with a total width, that's 4.8 meters. Then you subtract the space the shelves take up, and after that, you subtract the space you have to keep clear for the walkway.
Easy.
And there it is, 3.3 meters. After taking out the things that can't be moved, Lynn knows she has exactly 3.3 meters of usable space for her new display. See how that quick bit of math makes sure she doesn't try to build something that's way too big for the area?
But wait, we're not quite done. Knowing the size of the space is just one piece of the puzzle. Now we've got to figure out how many products, in this case wiper blades, will actually fit into that 3.3 meter space.
And here's the last piece of information we need. The display plan, remember, the detailed one, it tells Lynn that each individual pack of wiper blades needs 0.15 meters of space on the display hook.
And boom, here's where that simple math really pays off. She just divides her available 3.3 meters by the 0.15 meters each pack needs, and she knows she can fit exactly 22 units. This is so important. It prevents a display that's all jammed together or one that has big, awkward, empty gaps.
So, the math is done, the numbers are clear. But Lynn's job isn't just about plans and calculations. Nope. She also needs to follow Automax's official workplace procedures. This is what makes sure the job gets done correctly, safely, and, professionally.
So, why are these procedures so important? Well, they're not just rules for the sake of rules. They're there to make sure every display looks professional, to keep both the staff and the customers safe, and to make sure that any team member could step in and do the job the exact same correct way.
At Automax, this means following a really clear, three-step paperwork process. Before she even starts, Lynn reads and signs the work instruction. Then, while she's getting the stock, she fills out a stock movement record. And finally, after it's all set up, she completes a display setup form. It's a simple paper trail that tracks the job from beginning to end.
And finally, it's not just about plans and paperwork. It's also about people. Lynn needs to know exactly who to talk to about what. She gets her instructions from her sales manager, David. She might get feedback from customers. And if she needs technical info, she'll go to the service advisor. Knowing who to ask is so key to avoiding confusion.
Okay, so let's put all the pieces together. We followed Lynn's whole process from start to finish, and we've seen exactly how she takes a simple task on a piece of paper and turns it into a real, professional display on the sales floor.
It really all boils down to this clear, logical flow. First, you check the plans. Second, you do the math. Third, you read the instructions carefully. And fourth, you follow the procedures for paperwork and communication. You see how each step just naturally builds on the last one?
And that brings us to the most important takeaway of all. For Lynn, and for anyone doing this kind of work, floor plans and procedures aren't just a bunch of boring rules you have to follow. They're tools. They are tools designed to help you succeed, to help you work safely and efficiently, and do a great job. They're your guide to getting it done right every single time.